My name is Dr. Okafor Chidumeje, CEO at OurDrKing Foundation Nigeria, convener, triathlon, the Lupus Day. The Lupus Day is Dr. Okafor Chidumeje, CEO at OurDrKing Foundation Nigeria, convener, triathlon, the Lupus Day. Now, this is going to be a very short story. After this story, I would want you to judge yourself whether the entity, the subject matter of this story is one of us that is from this dimension or someone from a completely different dimension. Be the judge. So now, this setting is in the hospital I was working in a few years ago. I was on call duty and this is like 1 a.m. and it was raining heavily. The casualty that I had at hand was a pregnant woman that has been in labor for about almost going to 4 days in maternity, and then she was bleeding from the genitals, the birth canal. So we've already resuscitated, and the diagnosis was prolonged obstetric labor. The baby is still alive, the woman is still alive. So we booked theater as fast as possible. So now the patient was now wheeled down to the theater. So the theater is about 30 meters or so, or plus, 30 meters plus from the emergency. So it was more like a long, about 100 meters from the hospital, from the 100 meters from the emergency. So it was more like a long walk. So I was following behind the porters immediately because I had to. We were still resuscitating while the woman was going down. So when I got to the emergency, when I got to the theater, I met the nurse on duty. So now let me explain the theater. The theater is in such a way that there is a call room for the nurses, and that call room is placed in such a way that it has 2 windows. The other window, from the other window you can view the hospital. That's from the other window you can view down to the emergency. Then from the other window you'll be looking down more like field, grasslands, and trees. So the window I want you to focus on is the window that focuses, that gives you a view of graveyard of Greenland. That is the window I want you to be focusing on. This is 1 a.m. and it is raining heavily. So as I was about recording the patients, I discovered there was no biro. So I asked the nurse, please help me get a beak so that I can register the case. So the nurse now moves in. The nurse on theater now moves into their call room, and in the next seconds I heard a shout, more like a scream. So I stood up, went closer to the room. As I was going close to the room, I saw her running out. So she now said somebody was about stealing their phone, something like that. So I said, stealing the phone. He said yes. So that means somebody was bringing out, somebody was putting his hand from the window, that's from the window, to take the phone that they were charging inside the call room. That was what she wanted to tell me. So I now said, okay, let's now go in and be sure the person has not stolen the phone. So when we went in, we discovered that about 3 phones that they placed on top of the window, on top of the window pavement that they were charging. About 2 of the phone has fallen on the ground. So that means actually somebody attempted taking the phone from the window. So I laughed and I asked the nurse, so you now run out? Did you now run out for the person to take the phone and move away? So she now said she shouted, that when she shouted, the person saw her and moved away. And she actually flashed the light because there was no light in that call room current there. She flashed her light and she saw the person actually. So it wasn't like she was imagining, and she left. So I said, okay. So we now went to that place and picked the 2 phones that has fallen and now placed them on the floor with their long cord still charging. So we now left. So I went and registered the case. So after registering the case, I now went back to the nurse, and the nurse told me, and I now went back to give the nurse the biro, but the nurse has already gloved, so there's no way she can touch the biro anymore. So she now gave me the key to the room. She now told me to go into the room and keep the biro. So I took the key, unlocked the door, went inside the room, kept the biro. As I was coming out, something caught my attention. Remember I told you it was raining heavily that night. So I looked at the particular window that the nurse said this person brought in his hand to collect a phone. And I looked, and the windows were locked tightly from inside. Apart from being locked tightly from inside, there was a window protector there, and that window protector is in such a way that it would be very difficult for somebody to to withdraw his hand as fast as possible. Somebody can carefully put his hand inside to collect something, but to withdraw your hand fast as possible, except if the hand is the hand of a child. So I looked at the window, I came in there, I saw it was locked inside, and it was an Almaco, those typical Almaco windows, not like louvers. So the only way the only way somebody would have been able to collect that phone is if that window was not locked. So then that means the person would have pushed the window by the side and then put his hand to collect the phone. So I now came in, and of course I know the timing, the shouting and the running back. So, and I know the nurse didn't really go into that room again after that shout. So I still had my doubts. I said to go back to the nurse, and I asked the nurse, when you shouted, were you the one that locked the window? She said no. I said, did you touch the window at all? She said no. I said, you didn't touch the window, you didn't lock the window back. I said no. I said, somebody wanted to collect the phone. That means the person shifted the alumaco, brought in his hand, and you shouted. I don't think the person would jam the window while running away. The normal thing would be for the person to flee. She said yes. She said, no, doc, please. I hope you're not trying to act as if I imagine this. I saw this person. I saw it. I flashed light. I saw this person. I even saw when the person was running. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. I didn't want to scare the nurse further. But I'm not telling you, my audience, that window was locked tight. Locked tight. It was raining heavily outside. Now, it is not like this. Not imagine this thing. The phones were placed on the window. They were expensive phones. They were placed on the window. This window pavement was big enough to accommodate all the body of the phone. So the only thing that could have pushed that phone down from that pavement is an earthquake. Not a wind. No wind can blow those heavy phones away from that pavement. Either an earthquake or a ghost. Be the judge of the story. Who wanted to pick those phones? Dr. Okafor Chidumeje, CEO at OurDrKing Foundation Nigeria, convener, Trade-a-thon, the Lupus Day,